Hi there, my name's Kona and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be continuing the Scorched Earth Explorer Notes with Raia's writings. You probably remember her from the last Explorer Notes we did of John Dahkeya. She's quite an interesting character. So, without further ado, let's just get into the notes. Enjoy, survivors. Even at this distance, the Great Obelisk is beautiful. It is like a pillar of Amun-Ra's light, given solid form. I wish we could have made our camp right beside it, but the others thought that might draw unwanted attention. At least we are close enough to be in its shadow and drink from the river that runs beneath it. I always face it when I pray to Hathor, and though I can feel the skepticism in my company's gaze, my faith is unshaken. For it was my faith that guided us here, to this place rich with water and resources. All agree it is the ideal location for a settlement. Wherever we are, the gods are watching over us. I know it. Construction has been going well. None of us are architects, but we have been adjusting to our roles. Grisha's broad shoulders and a booming laugh conceal a keen mind, and we started making better progress once I convinced him to stop hauling rocks and start drawing up plans that let Amir focus on starting a garden where he is more at home. I have focused on trying to keep us organized and maintaining our spirits myself. I wish I could do more. Sadly, while a priestess has many gifts, manual labor is not one of them. I often find myself winded before midday. I pray that the others do not find me burdensome. Back in Luxor, I always tried to stay out of politics. I never aspired to be divine adoratrix as some priestesses did. I found that such selfish ambitions often led to suffering both for oneself and for others. So when Grisha referred to me as our leader today, I found myself surprised. I had never asked for such a position, and the others had never bestowed it on me in any official manner. It just happened naturally. I am not sure what to make of it, but if this is Hathor's will, then I will try to guide these people as best as I can. Our settlement has grown quickly during these hectic months. So many wandering souls have found their way here seeking shelter and companionships. I have done my best to welcome everyone I can. If treated with understanding, most become productive, loyal members of our community. But I am no fool. I know that hearts can have two natures. Hathor offers compassion, while Sekhmet brings devastation. As we grow in size, we become a riper target for those with malice in their hearts. Girisha has tried to organize a militia, but I fear it inadequate. For now, I must be wary and pray that the gods send us a true warrior. It took longer than I'd hoped, but I believe the gods have heard my prayers. At least I believe so. When I imagined what a true warrior might be like, I cannot say that I imagined Captain Dahkeya. He speaks tersely, has no sense of decorum, and in general is rather prickly. He was nigh unapproachable for a whole day when we decided his position should be called captain instead of the nonsense word he proposed. Yet he has been getting results, or so I am told. When I find time, I ought to observe him in action myself. I am still not accustomed to the loud, fiery weapons that our new captain is training his men to use. Their power is so destructive that it seems almost too much for any mortal man to possess. Yet Captain Dahkeya strolls up and down his line of trainees like they are wielding wooden swords, and twirls his own weapon almost absent-mindedly. It is somewhat unnerving to find someone so calm around such potent instruments of death. But I suppose that is why he has had such success in securing our borders. I can only hope that we need but one Captain Dahkeya, and that I never have to use those weapons myself. It has been such a blessing to be able to spread Hathor's joy and love to so many people. At first, my daily prayers garnered but a few curious observers, yet soon observations turned to questions, and questions turned to participation. Now there are so many of us that we have even begun to construct a shrine. I truly wish that I could teach these eager new students all day long, but my duty to the village must come first. Perhaps when our future here is finally secured, I shall be able to live the life of a priestess again. But for now, I have too many people counting on me. I cannot abandon them. Names are a curious thing. We assign them great weight, yet They do not change the substance of the person, place, or thing they belong to. I suppose that line of thinking is why I never dwelled on the name of our humble village. Yet now that it has grown to become something less humble, our home can go nameless no longer. People must call it something. To that end, Nasti is as good a name as any. I am told that it means to know in some old important language, and whatever our citizens intended that to symbolize when they chose it, I know this. While we are here, we are under the protection of the gods. Lost souls from all across the desert continue to prostrate themselves before Nasti's gates. I adamantly refuse to turn away anyone that does not mean us any harm, but I realize that has left us with many mouths to feed. As a result, Nasti's fields are its most valuable asset. Fortunately, Girisha's designs and my organization of labor and resources have once again proven effective. Not only did we implement an efficient irrigation system, but we have encased our crops in a large protective structure made of a clear, shiny substance called glass. Every morning, it sparkles with Amun-Ra's light, like a great gem, a beautiful reminder of what we can accomplish when we are united in purpose. Despite our best efforts and the blessings of the gods, tragedy is unavoidable in these strange lands. Yesterday, it struck Nasti once more in the form of a mantis attack. And while I cannot undo what had been done, I hope that I was able to bring some small comfort to those who knew the victims best. Though we lacked the resources to properly inter the dead in tombs, we still held a ceremony in their memory, and I made time to speak privately with anyone who wished to. Between that and my usual duties, I am physically and emotionally exhausted. But when my people are suffering, I cannot afford to rest. Early on, I handled all of Nasti's trade negotiations, and I have had trouble growing out of the habit. I suppose that is why every caravan or hunter that passes through our gates knows my name. Some still insist on speaking with me personally, but I do not mind. I find these dealings rather engaging. It is like playing a game of words. One such caravan arrived yesterday bearing a haul of metal ingots. Our venerable captain has suggested that I bring a contingent of guards to the negotiations, but I would rather not. If our guests are intimidated, they may back out, and I would be remiss to waste such an opportunity. I shall gladly admit that I erred. I shall even admit that I owe Captain Dahkeya my life and offer him all the gratitude he is due. Yet that does not excuse such merciless behavior. Those so-called merchants may have stooped to viciousness and cruelty by trying to kidnap me, but that one had surrendered. There was no need to execute him on the spot, was there? It is so hard to see where light ends and darkness begins in this violent place. Perhaps if I could adequately protect myself, we could have avoided needless bloodshed. Yes, I think it is time I shall master these explosive weapons, and Captain Dahkeya is going to help me. Step by step, I am learning how to shoot. During my first few lessons, the weapons almost jumped out of my hand when I fired them, but my arms have grown strong and my aim truer. Captain Dahkeya's presence has been helpful. The same calm that is found unnerving from afar has been steadying from up close. He does not waste his breath in exaggerated praise or criticism. He simply keeps me focused on what I need to do, and everything else just falls away. Considering where I started, he has been very patient with me. Perhaps I should be more patient with him. In ancient times, gentle Hathor took the form of fierce warrior goddess Sekhmet and unleashed her wrath upon the human world. Yet even during her relentless slaughter, Hathor was within Sekhmet, as Sekhmet was always within Hathor. And when she was eventually calmed, the peaceful goddess of joy and love returned. As it is with the goddess, so it is with mankind. The vicious can become kind, and the kind-hearted can become violent for all his past transgressions. Captain Dahkeya is no different. He did not grasp Hathor and Sekhmet's tale when I told him the other day, but if he keeps trying to better himself, then perhaps one day he will. In principle, I have turned into a competent marksman. Yet in practice, how would I fare? When the time comes, could I end another human life? I am not so sure. My mouth grows dry with fear at the very thought. The warrior spirit of Sekhmet surely resides somewhere within the recesses of my heart, but search as I may, I cannot find it. As training, I offered to put down some of our beasts that had grown deathly ill. It was a merciful act, but it still drew tears from my eyes and twisted my stomach into knots. I must learn to act in spite of these feelings. My life may depend on it one day.